often.
Get up, mate, get up, sunshine. One more, get up. Go away, get up.
Now we all know we feel completely shattered when we have our sleep disrupted. But how many of us know exactly why?
To find out, we're going to meet 3 sleepy people. David, who's so wound up by work that he can't wind down at night.
You just think, oh God, can they just turn my brain off? I mean, if you've got a little switch on the back of your head that you could just turn off, you know you'd be out like a light.
And Aid and Claire, who haven't had a good night's sleep for 15 weeks.
Both of our lifestyles have been very, very hard working, long hours. So I look at it that we've had good training for lack of sleep.
And I'm going to stay awake for as long as I possibly can to find out about the damage that sleep deprivation can do. Sleep deprivation is a dangerous business. In fact, not sleeping can kill you quicker than not eating. You can go without food for 12 weeks, but the longest anyone has ever stayed awake is just 11 days. Despite the rude awakening, I had a good night's sleep last night. To prove how alert I am, I'm going to embark on a little target practice. Soldiers often go for days without enough sleep. This fort is used to teach them to distinguish between friend and foe in a split second. That's no easy task when you're tired, but I'm not yet. Hidden somewhere in here are 10 moving targets. Some are armed terrorists, others are unarmed civilians. I'll have a fraction of a second to decide whether or not I should fire. 100%. I hit all the terrorists and held fire on all the civilians. I'll have another go at this test when I'm sleep deprived, so we'll see how I get on then.
Oh. Well, that's the easy bit over and done with. I'm now going to face the horrors of several sleepless nights. I love my sleep, but I'm not really looking forward to this part of the experiment. If I don't sleep, I can get moody, irritable, pretty fed up generally. But having said that, I don't really know what it's going to be like, so let's give it a go.
While I'm choosing to stay awake, there can come a point in everyone's life when they have no choice. Claire is 35. She's a caterer who organises banquets for people. But it's not her job that keeps her awake at night. 15 weeks ago, Zoe entered her universe, followed 3 minutes later by Amy.
They don't sleep very well, really. Sometimes, you just think, oh, maybe tonight I'll sleep through. But, I've completely lost my train of thought. That's sleep deprivation, isn't it? I have just completely lost where I was going on that one. Oh, yeah, Mum's mad, isn't she? And it's your fault. Yes, it is.
Claire's partner, Aid, works long hours, so he also needs his sleep.
I do as much as I can to protect Aid from too much sleep deprivation. Aid will do the sort of midnighty feed, and then I'll do the graveyard shifts, if you like, the really difficult ones throughout the night. Come on then, over. There we go.
All new parents lose at least 2 hours sleep a night for the first few months, and around an hour a night for the rest of the first year.
The number of hours that we've lost through lack of sleep with the girls, it's just immense. You don't keep a running total, you just know it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like a grain mountain.
Most new parents assume that it's the loss of sleep that makes them feel so wrecked. But it's not just how much we sleep, but when we sleep that's crucial to our well-being. We're designed to be active during the day, not at night. Virtually all our bodily functions are locked into a 24-hour cycle called a circadian rhythm, and they're all regulated by light. Deep in the center of the brain is a pea-sized clump of nerve cells called the pineal gland. The pineal gland is influenced by light. As night falls, it starts to increase the production of a hormone called melatonin, and this makes us sleepy. Melatonin levels drop throughout the night. As it gets light, we start to wake up. Disrupting your circadian rhythms can make you feel like you're suffering from permanent jet lag.
It just feels awful. It just feels like some sort of torture, really. It really does. It's just like, no, please just let me sleep, let me sleep.
It's not just parents that feel that way. Insomnia affects 1 in 4 of the adult population.
Nervous tension.
David is 31 and runs his own consultancy business.
Nervous tension.
He may look all right, but don't be fooled. He's a troubled man.
I think about 2:15 in the morning. I haven't had any sleep. I'm lying in bed with a lot of thoughts running through my head.
Nervous tension is an unseen enemy of the human mind.
It's stress that keeps David awake.
I never get to sleep. I mean, I've been awake till like 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and you just think, God, I've got to get up in a couple of hours because I've got all this stuff to do. And you know, that's what makes you feel bad, because you know that you're going to be feeling crappy for the rest of the day. Go around and take photographs of all the different hazards that are in the place. Yeah.
One of his clients is an engineering firm that makes the braking systems for trains. It's his job to make sure that everything's made and fitted correctly. This is not a job you want to get wrong.
If there was an accident, the accident investigators would come in. If it came down to the braking systems, then they could come back to me and say, right, this accident was as a direct result of something that you missed out.
David's got so much on his mind that he programs reminders into his mobile phone throughout the night. On a really bad night, he only gets 2 hours sleep. The stress and insomnia have got so bad over the last 2 years that he's determined to get help.
Just to get rid of the whole stress and the symptoms that go with it, you cut off your right arm, just to get yourself feeling okay.
While David's worried about work, Claire's in mourning for her memory.
I had an astonishing capacity to remember telephone numbers. I don't know why, but I would remember telephone numbers that I'd used once or twice. People's names, people's faces. No, I had a very, very good, very sharp memory.
With 2 months of broken sleep, she can't even remember her shopping list.
That wasn't today's. Oh, girls, we'll just have to remember. Was it bibs? What else was it? In bath, what else was it? Nappies. Is it that? That'll do. I know it's there somewhere, but it's sort of hiding in this fog. And so maybe when they sleep, the fog will clear again and I'll get sharper again.
It's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm about to put my own memory to the test. Much to my horror, I've got to learn how to dance. I'm widely regarded as a pretty useless dancer, so this is going to be challenging even when completely fine. I think by the time I'm sleep deprived, it really will be quite embarrassing. You know, like the father of the bride at a wedding reception always sort of shuffles along 2 beats behind the song. That's me.
If you just want to take a couple of steps forwards, and you do the same. Tiny bit further forward, and then my back 2 boys just step forwards a little bit as well. Okay, I'm going to start from the top of my routine. Starts very easily, 4 walks forward, starting on the right leg. So you walk 1.
There's a lot more to memory than facts and figures. Sleep also helps you remember how to do something, like drive a car or dance a new routine.
Put it down, 8 feet together, and you're facing the side. Front 6.
Graham, Richard and Toby have been roped in to help out.
4, 5, 6, 7.
When you sleep, your brain consolidates what you learn during the day, and some scientists think that your performance will actually improve after a good night's sleep, even though you've had no further practice. I'm bad, but the guys aren't much better.
5, 6, 7,
We're all going to spend the night in a sleep lab, and we're going to come back tomorrow and find out whether these guys are better than me after they've had a good night's sleep.
David's come to Glasgow in search of a cure for his insomnia. He's being seen by Professor Colin Espy, a leading expert in the treatment of sleep disorders.
Colin Espy, nice to meet you. Do you want to come this way? This is an interesting bit here. You're doing something with your phone and it's after 1 in the morning. What are you doing?
I had an idea that I typed into the phone.
Right. I'm going to give you a fancy label. I'm going to tell you you've got insomnia, but I'm going to tell you you've got what we call psychophysiological insomnia. There's another element to the problem, I think. There's an element of what we call circadian dysregulation. And what that means is that the body clock may be slightly out of sync with the clock on your wall.
Although David goes to bed at 11, he never gets to sleep before 1. Professor Espy has a treatment in mind, but it involves spending less time in bed, not more.
I would suggest that initially you go to bed a couple of hours later.
Okay.
So that you're actually going to bed around the time that you probably begin to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But that you get up at the same time, you don't get up later.
This treatment is called sleep restriction. By going to bed at 1 o'clock, David should fall asleep straight away, rather than lying awake worrying.
It's interesting to have a label put on your house with the word psycho in it.
It's time for bed. David is following Professor Espy's advice and going to bed 2 hours later than normal. He was also told to take his mobile and TV out of his room, but he's rebelling.
It's 1 o'clock and I cannot be asked to move the TV out of the way. And I've done a little bit of aversion therapy on the phone, which is, as you can see, off.
My dancing partners are spending the night at a sleep lab at the University of Surrey so we can monitor their brainwaves and find out what the quality of their sleep is like. As they turn in, their heart rate drops, and so does their temperature as their body slows down for the night. I'm also spending the night in the lab, but I've got to stay awake. This is the point where it's starting to get tough for me. Up until now, it's been a normal working day. I'm bored, and I'm not even allowed a drink to cheer myself up. Anyone who's lucky enough to sleep always goes through 3 main stages. First, it's shallow sleep, which lasts for 30 minutes. Then you enter deep sleep. During deep sleep, brain activity slows right down, so that the daily wear and tear on your brain can be repaired. Then suddenly the brain is bombarded with stimuli. This is REM sleep, and it's what could give the guys an advantage over me. Some scientists think that during REM sleep, your brain performs an action replay of new physical skills that you've learnt during the day. Although how the Prime Minister got in there, no one's really sure. While your brain is active, your body is paralysed to prevent you from acting out your dreams, which is just as well.
Right, left, right.
After 10 minutes of REM sleep, you then switch back to shallow sleep, and the whole cycle starts again. If you sleep for 8 hours, you'll have 5 of these 90-minute cycles. You'll spend a third of your life in this amazing state. Being awake with nothing but a jigsaw for entertainment is not so amazing. When you wake up, it takes about 20 minutes for your brain activity to get up to speed. That's why you're not the brightest spark first thing in the morning. The fellas have all had a good 8 hours sleep and are starting to come to. And now it's light, I've perked up a bit myself.
Okay, it's 6:05. I'm through the worst of it. It's about 20 minutes after dawn, and I'm going to go for a run. I'm feeling like I really survived the first night. It was really black and horrible a while ago, and I was feeling a bit wobbly, but I'm through it. I'm going for a run. I'm going to feel much better.
I'm not the only one who didn't sleep last night. David let stress get the better of him again.
Absolutely shattered. It is like a vicious circle, because if you haven't slept well, then you feel more stressed and you can't get enough work done, and then your work backs up, and then you're more stressed because your work's backed up, so you can't sleep, and it just goes round and round.
The stress response originally evolved to help us deal with danger. Whenever we face a real or imagined threat, our bodies prepare us for immediate action. It all kicks off in the adrenal glands, which sit just above the kidneys. The core of the adrenals start pumping out adrenaline, while the outside pumps a second stress hormone called cortisol. Adrenaline flows into the bloodstream and starts to work its way around the body. It increases the heart rate and blood pressure. Cortisol releases glucose from the liver so it can be used to power the muscles and the brain. In short bursts, this fight or flight response can have positive benefits. But the problem for David is that his fight or flight response is switched on all the time. Just getting stuck in traffic can send his body into overdrive. He may look calm, but his body is responding as if he's being physically attacked.
It's like someone's hit me in the middle of the chest with a sledgehammer and knocked all the air out of the system, all the wind out of the sails. I feel very shaky, like I've got a really low blood sugar.
The fact is, a good night's sleep would really help.
Okay, well, it's 9 o'clock. I've been awake for just over 24 hours, and I feel okay, a bit tired, I guess. But if I've been working all night, I reckon I could drive home no problem. So here goes.
I've been on a driving simulator before, but this time I'm being wired up at the Kinetic Sleep Research Unit, and my brain activity is going to be monitored by Dr. Stone.
Well, he's awake at the moment, and there's a lot of muscle activity because he's moving around, but we can see alpha activity in the 4 EG channels, and we can see lots of eye movements in the eye movement channel, and then the muscle underneath his chin is very active as well. It's calmed down a little now, but before it was moving around a lot when he was talking.
In an urban environment, there's normally enough going on to keep you awake. The trouble really starts when you hit the monotonous motorway. After a night without sleep, your brain will be less active. That's why your concentration, reaction time, and judgment are impaired.
Yeah, see the eye movements, he's not got the eye movements, so I don't know whether he's dropping off.
Falling asleep at the wheel accounts for 1 in 5 of all the accidents on the motorways.
He had a micro sleep a few seconds ago. So the alpha flattened, it was a much lower activity, and the eye movements began to roll as well.
Micro sleeps can last for just a fraction of a second, but that's enough time for you to drive into another car or off the road.
It's not my fault.
You can see there's no eye movements here at all, and big alpha, which you get when your eyes are closed. And then he's beginning to fall asleep here, and this is when he crashed the car. He's really sleepy that he's gone so quickly.
I'm obviously far more tired than I realise.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, mate.
Rock and roll.
A couple of weeks later, life's not getting any better for Claire and Aid either.
Claire and I, we work very well together, but when we start getting tired, we get scratchy, beyond belief.
I'm tired, and he comes home, and it's like, yeah, thank God, some help. And then he picks up the keys to the garage, and then goes again. That's when I get really cross, because I know he's around, but he's not helping me.
But I'm desperate to get back and get paperwork finished. Depending upon the atmosphere in the house, on occasions, that may influence for somebody else to think that I'm hiding.
They're not the only ones in a bad mood. It's 5:40 and I've been awake, 34 hours or something, and I feel pretty shit, really, frankly, and the last thing I want to do is any dancing, but, you know, for the kids, eh?
Well, last night we
doing that again.
Unfortunately, it's time to find out if I can remember any of those fancy moves.
Oh, I've gone beyond being really tired, where I'm now, like, really tired, but, well, I have to get this finished, then I can go and, you know, rest or something, or, I don't know, my beer, I'm allowed it, call me.
First up, it's Graham. Refreshed after a full dose of REM sleep, he's remembered every step of the routine.
I'm well hacked off doing this. It's supposed to be a science program, turned into a comedy number. I'm supposed to be a professional.
Next, it's Richard. He's improved too, and added a fancy little move of his own. All the guys have got better because they rehearsed the routine in their sleep.
Wake up.
Uptown girl, here's my uptown girl.
Oops, 3 steps instead of 4. Didn't pulse left before I lifted my leg. Without any REM sleep, I'm just as bad as I was yesterday. As well as trashing your memory, sleep deprivation plays havoc with your health.
Walk here. You want to place your back against the...
David's so worried that he's having a full medical checkup.
Just look straight ahead for me. Just like this for a minute.
Lack of sleep and stress both increase the level of stress hormones in your blood, and that's not good news. High levels of the hormone cortisol are particularly harmful because cortisol can muck up your immune system, which makes you more susceptible to infection and disease. It also increases the appetite and makes you crave carbohydrates. But David is most worried about his heart, and not without good reason. When you're stressed, the build-up in blood pressure increases the amount of force exerted on the arteries, and this could damage their inner lining. The extra glucose and fatty acids that are mobilized to power your fight or flight response begin to accumulate at the damaged site. Over time, they can build up, clogging the arteries and starving the heart of oxygen. This could lead to a heart attack.
Relaxing again. Okay, so you bring your arm out again.
David has every reason to be concerned. I'm not feeling that great either. I haven't slept now for 41 hours. We've got an early start tomorrow, so we've checked into a hotel. The crew are supposed to take me out on the town, but I'm so tired, I just can't be bothered.
I just really love to do this and keep my eyes closed for a long time. I know, just sleep. So it's really, you know, it's the old matchstick job.
Well, I could sleep forever, but it's of her I dream. If I could sleep forever.
Ooh, I think I was drifting there. I think I was. God, you know, it just really sneaks up. 1 minute, you can be really focused on something. The next minute, bang, you're off.
In the Midlands, David's still awake too. It was 3 weeks before he took his TV and mobile out of the bedroom. He's still going to bed at 1 a.m, but now he's winding down first with the help of Professor Espy.
Noticing that each time you breathe in, the muscles in your chest tighten up, and as you breathe out, there is a sense of letting go.
It's 3 a.m. and I'm nowhere to be seen. Call me pathetic, but this is one competition I don't need to win. After 44 hours, my head hurts, my voice is hoarse, my body aches, I feel so bad I can't go on.
You don't want to do anything else?
No, I'll quit. Bugger off. Maybe I've got to have some sleep.
The twins have actually slept for 2 nights on the trot. Claire's feeling better, but Aid's not so sure.
Doesn't the fact that they've slept through give you a bit of hope? Because it does me.
Bit, yeah.
See, I feel like getting the bloody brass band out, I do. But then I'll take it at face value more than you. You tend to wait until they've slept through for a year before you celebrate,
No,
don't you,
so
you old bugger?
3 or 4 days, it means to me that it's actually on the go and it's not a fluke.
And David? His heart's been given the all clear. And by following Professor Espy's advice, he's been sleeping for 6 hours every night for the last month. He's so relaxed, he's even got a social life again.
It's gone out for the first time in God knows how long, just because I actually feel up to it. And that's pretty much down to the fact that I've had enough sleep, and the stress levels have gone down as a result of that as well. So yeah, no, I feel great.
And what happened to me? Although I crashed out on the second night, I only got 1 hour's sleep. I had to get up early to have another go at the firing range. At this stage in the proceedings, my brain had practically shut down. But was I still able to save those civilians? No. Just 2 nights without sleep can ruin your mood, reaction time, concentration, and judgment. I was so deranged, I shot everything in sight. Sleep is crucial for our well-being. We're all trying to get more done by staying awake, but in truth we should just get some sleep.
If I could sleep forever.
Sadly, after we finished making this program, baby Zoe caught meningitis and died.
If you've been affected by any of the issues in tonight's programme and would like to talk to someone in confidence for sources of support or further information, call the BBC Three Action Line on 0800 033 033. That's 0800 033 033. The line is open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. until midnight, and all calls are free and confidential.
Innovation, revolution, form and function, design solutions, minimal, maximal, traditional or retro cool, colour, light, far east, far out, dream spaces, the shape of things to come. Sunday at 9:30 on BBC Three.
Fill it up with medium-sized worms and cut the noses off them with a scissors. Now, this is not really cruel because a worm doesn't feel pain.
And so Three Thinking Thursday continues, and so does Body Hits. This time we're talking complete sense, but how many have we got? This is Sensory Overload.
keen sense of vision, Mark, at 33, has already made his name as an artist. Georgius is Mr. Touch. And I squeak in as Mr. Sound. After all, as a psychologist, I've put in thousands of hours of careful listening.
Okay, team, so we're here today to experience sensory deprivation. We're going to induce that through a flotation tank. How do we think we're all going to feel?
They say you come out either happy or crying.
Probably pretty hopeless.
I'll be curious to see what my brain will bring to my consciousness.
What I hope is that, you know, I manage to switch my brain off.
The senses are our own multi-channel receiver. The physiological way we understand the world around us.
And we'll begin our sensual journey with touch. What would my mother say? Some say touch is really 4 separate senses. We have the unconscious ability to sense where our arms and legs are. This allows us to perform actions even with our eyes closed.
It's called proprioception. Then there's thermoception, our ability to sense if something is hot or cold, even from a distance. Tactician lets us sense pressure on the skin so we know what we're touching. And also detect the touch of others. And finally, there's nociception, the perception of pain. And all 4 of these senses come together in what we call the sense of touch.
Information travels through nerves at different speeds depending on how thick they are and whether they're sheathed in a substance called myelin, which helps them transmit electrical signals. The thickest and fastest carry information about proprioception, the unconscious sense that stops us falling over. Second are the nerves.
It's what the Trust's about, is bringing people into landscape and giving them untrammelled access.
You cannot sit on the fence, and I'm afraid you are sitting on the fence.
We have 10 hours over a solstice period to have a solstice celebration. That's not my issue.
This is what they call managed. Well, it's chaos.
Standoff at the Stones, the National Trust, Sunday at 8 on BBC 4.
There are scenes you may find very disturbing now on the BBC 4 zone. Rosie Millard profiles a woman not short of celebrity contacts, all whom would rather go naked than wear fur.
Fur. It's the luscious fabric of glamour and celebrity, but is it cool? The wearing of fur evokes great passions in advocates and critics alike. For one woman, the campaign against fur has been her life's raison d'etre. Who is Ingrid Newkirk? Why is she so controversial? And why do people love her or hate her?
I think that this woman is an animal rights cultist.
She just has such a gentle, sweet way about her that...
She's just fantastic. I love it that she's really focused and she's very intelligent and this is her whole life and her whole passion.
Why has Ingrid Newkirk dedicated her life to the banning of fur and the protection of animals? She's a master tactician and knows the pulling power of a famous face. She's also responsible for one of the last decade's most iconic slogans: I'd rather go naked than wear fur. Ingrid Newkirk and star Chrissie Hynde are outside KFC in Paris. Ingrid is the president and co-founder of People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA. The KFC protest is about the treatment of chickens it uses in its restaurants. Ingrid is here because the campaign is her brainchild. Chrissie is here to be noticed.
I'm hoping that because I'm a rock star that I can, some music magazines or someone will follow it up because I'm there.
Ingrid and Chrissy want to grab attention, but most of all, they want to get arrested. Ingrid's already been arrested over 40 times, but shots of Chrissy Hind being arrested will make the papers all around the world. Once the protesters started blocking the boulevard and causing traffic chaos, the police moved in. In the end, Chrissy, Ingrid and even the chicken were taken away to the police station. It wasn't too long before they were released with a fine, another episode in the KFC campaign which Peter has now launched in over 25 countries.
Free at last! We have protests planned everywhere internationally. I'm sure that they will escalate with counterattacks, getting on the counter and talking to the customers directly.
I'm going to meet Ingrid at the PETA headquarters in Norfolk, Virginia.
Thank you for calling PETA. How may I direct your call?
Ingrid Newkirk has built PETA into America's most successful radical organization. I'm fascinated by the mythology surrounding its leader. With office-bound cats, some cropped for ease of grooming, and giant stuffed mascots, the PETA office is idiosyncratic. But its 180 staff are all clearly singing from the same song sheet. PETA encourages people not just to give up fur, but to turn vegan, or at least vegetarian, and has plenty of literature to help people do this. There's even a website called, naturally, goveg.com. Of course, you don't have to be quite so committed as one keen employee who's rechristened herself goveg.com. This is the PETA kitchen, this is the vegan vending machine, and this is goveg.com, the person.
Hi.
Why did you change your name?
Well, you know, I've been working with animal rights and vegetarian issues since I was in high school, and always trying to work vegetarianism into my conversations, and I thought, hey, you know, I love my old name, but if I change my name to goveg.com, I could be, every time I sign my check, I could send somebody to the website to get all the information they need to know about factory farms.
Is your name legally goveg.com?
It is. It was actually super easy to get it done. I was afraid they would make me divide it into two names and switch it all around, but they just let me push it through the bureaucratic wheels.
Hi. Hi, Ingrid. Rosie. Next, I'm given a cup of coffee with soy milk and a chance to meet Ingrid Newkirk herself.
Hello. Wandering through, don't mind us.
So what's with all the domestic animals in the building? Everywhere you look, there's something in a basket. And I thought pets were outlawed with PETA. I thought you outlawed pets. I thought pets
were
part of the picture.
No, we call them companion animals because pets is sort of like that 60s business with nomenclature for women. But if people have one lonely dog who would sit with his legs crossed.
The 60s nomenclature.
Oh, yes.
I mean, my children, you know, if they want to have, they haven't got any pets, but they wouldn't say, can I have a companion animal?
Oh, we do in this country now. Yes, it's very much the thing. The lift has little sensors on it so that if a cat puts their head in the lift door, it doesn't shut.
Oh, how fantastic.